Rimuru's girlfriend Konoha is so powerful that for 19 volumes, he would have lost to her. And if it wasn't for her existence giving our boy a hint towards evolving into a virtual being, Rimuru would have died. In fact, in countless other timelines, Rimuru kept on dying, leading to the end of the Cardinal world as we know it, with Chloe having to keep on repeating a time loop over and over again for thousands of years until finally she reached the current time loop where Rimuru locked the in. This is all possible due to Chloe wielding the power of the Spirit of Time, which allows not only her, but Rimuru too now to have dominion over time itself. Yep, I'm doing the time loop Chloe video, it's happening right now. But to understand the plan to save Rimuru, we have to travel 300 years into the past, when the Demon Lord Leon Cronwell and Chloe fall through a dimensional crack and end up in the Cardinal world. However, 10-year-old Chloe immediately gets summoned to the future by the Western nations summoning ritual for Otherworlders. Just like a lot of her fellow Otherworlders, she possessed a strong will and high amount of Magicules, but since Chloe wasn't able to manifest a unique skill, she was essentially dying due to her high Magicule concentration. Obviously, this was not what the nation that summoned her wanted, so they said screw that and handed her over to the Freedom Academy run by Yuki the Rat. It's here where she would meet and befriend the children Rimuru teaches: Kenya, Misaki, Gale, Alice, and Ryota. All children suffering from the same condition as Chloe. And like most Otherworlders connected to Rimuru, she would come to befriend Shizu as well, as she was originally Chloe's teacher. But after Shizu left and died, Rimuru came to visit the school so he could save the children, as it was one of Shizu's last wishes. And so Rimuru became the kid's teacher, with all the children growing pretty attached to him as they spent more time together, especially Chloe. Eventually, Rimuru saved a merchant named Miyomayo and was invited to dinner where he learned about the dwelling of spirits from one of the hostesses. This of course led Rimuru to the only person who could really save the kids at that time, the Demon Lord Ramirez. You see, when a person has a high Magicule count and no unique skill, it's tough for the body to adjust and that leads to death. But if you can fuse a high-ranking elemental spirit with that person, then the Magicules are stabilized. Hence, all the kids received some strong spirits, but Chloe's was on a completely different level. Even the Great Sage couldn't calculate any information about it, which at this point had only happened when Rimuru fought Milim. And that's because the Spirit of Time is actually Chloe's adult consciousness that keeps time looping, and she popped out now from a different timeline. Also, it was actually Rimuru from another timeline that helped time loop Chloe to this timeline as the Spirit of Time to kickstart the final loop. With the Spirit of Time inside of her, Chloe could now time travel. However, she can only do this when certain conditions are met, which wouldn't happen in the current timeline until volume 11. Before we get to the good ending though, let's flip through some of the bad timelines. One of the major changes that the Spirit of Time being inside Chloe influences is how Rimuru decides to stay a bit longer in Ingrassia with Chloe and ends up giving her Shizu's anti-magic mask. This led Rimuru to come face to face against Hinata and barely survive against her in season 2. It also delayed him reaching Tempest in time to save Shion and his citizens from being killed by the forces of Falmouth. Now, that all sounds pretty bad, right? How's this the good timeline? But for Rimuru, these were all supposed to be canon events, as if he never got delayed by Chloe, he would have reached Tempest in time to save everyone, which would have terrified Falmouth and rest of the nations from ever attacking Tempest. So Rimuru would have had no reason to evolve into a Demon Lord and gain strength. So he and Tempest would be heavily nerfed. No Diablo, no Raphael, nothing. Even the Paladins would be a big issue for Tempest to handle at this power level. Plus, with all the other nations becoming jealous towards the prosperity of Tempest, they would be heavily weakened, with the final nail in the coffin to Rimuru being dealt by the Eastern Empire, whom 5 years later launched a massive invasion against the Jura Forest. By this time, Chloe had developed feelings for Rimuru, and in a desperate attempt to protect her Pookie, she begged him not to join the battle, but Rimuru didn't listen. This led to his death against the Eastern Empire, who had the powers of Michael the Manas, Feldway the First Primordial Angel, Valgrind the Scorched Dragon, and the Imperial Guardians, who were even trouble for the evolved Primordial Demonesses in our timeline. However, Rimuru death also caused Veldora to go berserk, who destroyed both the Empire's army and Tempest in a fit of rage. However, while all of this is going on, Hinata is murdered in front of Chloe by a mysterious assailant, which triggers Chloe's time travel powers, sending her back 2,000 years alongside Hinata's soul residing within her, starting the time loop again. As Chloe makes way through the countless loops, she time and time again tries to alter the timeline so Rimuru can live. Each loop was different, but the outcome always ended at Rimuru's death. The Empire would always invade, Chloe fell in love with Rimuru, he went out into the battle saying, "Nah, I'd win," and he never returned, leading to Veldora's rampage. Another key detail to remember during the loops is that due to looping so many times, Chloe's memories had started to become muddled as a physical body wasn't designed to handle this much information. So as things went on, it became increasingly difficult for her to remember certain key events. However, in the most recent time loop, Chloe remembered the dwelling of spirits from her other time loops and decided to ask Rimuru to stay in Ingratiate a little bit longer, which inevitably led to Rimuru becoming a demon lord and new scenarios were triggered. The main one being the battle against Granville Rozzo in Lubelius, who ends up targeting Chloe, and in an effort to save the little girl, Hinata ends up dead way earlier in this time loop. Every time Hinata died after Rimuru died, but not this time. So Chloe is thrust 2,000 years into the past with Hinata's soul within her. If Hinata's consciousness wasn't inside her to keep company, she probably would have gone mad due to the loneliness. However, unlike Chloe, Hinata didn't possess her time travel powers or had the ability to keep the memories of the loop, so every time Chloe had to explain it. In her quest to change the future, Chloe navigated ancient events and interacted with many key figures from the past, where she aligned herself with Demon Lord Luminous through gaining her trust by warning her about Veldora destroying her capital city, which allowed for the safe evacuation of all of the living subjects just in time. Chloe then carefully revealed selected info to Luminous so her actions could guide the world to a future where Rimuru was still alive in Volume 11, like about Granville Rozzo, one of Luminous's closest allies, betraying her. After befriending Luminous, Chloe changed her name to Cronoa so that someone like Leon wouldn't figure out that she's Chloe. So she continued her heroic actions across the world, gaining new skills like absolute imprisonment, which allowed Hinata to finally get her revenge on Veldora and seal him 300 years ago. Obviously, this was done because the guy was on a rampage, but Chloe also knew Rimuru meeting Veldora was the catalyst for basically everything, and it absolutely needed to happen. So Chloe, controlled by Hinata, was able to steal Veldora away. But how is that possible? How does a mere human stack up to the powers of a true dragon? This is due to her insane arsenal of abilities, which we have 7 to cover at this moment. The first is Time Leap, which allows Chloe to leap through time. The second is Time Stop, allowing her to stop time for a limited duration. Then there is Unlimited Imprisonment. This is the skill that sealed Veldora away as it traps the target in a complex number of spatial dimensions. However, Veldora was only sealed due to the sheer power of Absolute Severance, a physical and magical attack that severs spaces. Finally, Cronoa has Seize, which allows her to steal abilities of targets stronger than her. Force Takeover, which does the same thing for weaker targets, and Copy, which allows her to copy any skill from a target. She has all of Hinata's abilities too, basically. Honestly though, between you and me, Veldora told me not to leak this, but bro was caught lacking because he was simping for Cronoa the whole fight. That's why he lost. However, with Leon and Chloe's arrival into the Tensura world, there was a slight problem, as the universe would not allow for 2 versions of Chloe to exist at the same time. If TomTom is editing this part, do not cut that joke out.
I beg your pardon?
As a result, Chloe's consciousness was sealed away by using her holy coffin, which created a pocket of spiritrons which were hidden from time and space. So Chloe essentially died, leaving a new personality born from her negative emotions, Cronoa, who Hinata had to constantly battle for dominance over the host body. Still, Hinata would carry out her duties as the hero, and her final mission was to save Shizu from Leon's castle, giving her the anti-magic mask, so Rimuru would have it in the future. This is where things get kind of complicated. So Rimuru gave the mask to Chloe, who then gave it to Hinata, who gave it to Shizu, who gave it to Rimuru. The mask has literally gone through space and time multiple times. It literally broke the confines of reality due to it having no beginning or end. This is why Diablo was so fascinated by it, as an object like this could only be formed by the creator of the multiverse, which supports our theory that Rimuru is Vildanava, but we have a whole video on that already, so go check that out. Also, buy some gamer subs. Code ABD, 10% off. Please buy some gamer subs. I love gamer subs. If you guys buy gamer subs, they send me gamer subs. And if I drink gamer subs, I can make more videos. Everyone gets a W. Cronoa, with Hinata's consciousness 70 years ago, also rescued Shizu Aizawa from Leon Cronwell's castle. She then trained Shizu, meaning technically Hinata trained herself later on when Shizu was her teacher. However, Cronoa had to leave and also be sealed inside the holy coffin as the real Hinata showed up into the world. Moving to the present, Yuki the rat destroys the holy coffin that held the hero, resulting in Cronoa going on an insane rampage, as upon awakening, all that remained was that negative personality of Cronoa. So she entered combat with Rimuru, Veldora, and Leon, where she was holding her own. The only way Rimuru stopped her was because Chloe has a crush on Rimuru. So after she saw that he was alive in this timeline, Rimuru's future girlfriend was calmer. Then Diablo the Goat also suggested a method to interact with the souls intertwined within Cronoa, where Rimuru, with Raphael's hacks, put on the anti-magic mask on Cronoa, leading him to enter Chloe's mental world. Here, Rimuru found Chloe and Hinata trapped within Infinity Prison, so with his intervention, Chloe's power evolved into the ultimate skill Lord of Space-Time Yog-Sothoth, and she became a Manas, or a virtual being, meaning Chloe could now exist beyond the trappings of space-time. Right after, a reunion happens between Chloe, Hinata, Rimuru, and a nostalgic impression of Shizu, who actually guided Rimuru towards Chloe and Hinata inside the mental world, as Shizu is kind of like the thread that binds all of these guys together, especially that mask. Right after, Luminous and Rimuru both combined their powers to resurrect Hinata and Chloe after breaking the cycle of the time loop. Now that she's back to being herself, Chloe can switch freely between her child and adult form. And what if I told you she's even stronger now than she was as the hero who sealed Veldora away? This is because now Chloe has two hero eggs inside of her. In other words, the good version of a Demon Lord seed. One was from herself and the other from Hinata, and both hatched. This makes her the only person to have two hatched eggs. On top of that, she now has another ultimate skill, Granville Rotzo's Hope King Sariel. This is because before he died at the hands of Luminous, he requested to give his ultimate skill to Chloe, viewing her as the hope of all mankind. The ultimate skill is also incredibly powerful, having 3 sub-skills. The first being consecutive melt slashes. Remember, this is that really strong attack that Hinata used in season 3 against Rimuru that almost killed him. Yeah, well, Cronoa now has the ability to like spam this shit. The second skill is life and death manipulation. The name kind of speaks for itself, giving Chloe the ability to control the 2 principles as she pleases. And finally, there is fortitude, an enhancement skill which strengthens Chloe and her equipment. On top of having 2 ultimate skills, Hinata's Moon Rapier and Holy Spirit armaments were able to evolve into mythical grade equipment over the 2,000 years Chloe and Hinata were Cronoa. And naturally, being this powerful catches the attention of other strong people, including one guy, Guy Crimson. I'm sorry. Why did I say that? You see, the OG Demon Lord paid Tempest a visit for a meeting, and it was here where Guy noticed Chloe was broken as fuck. In other words, he realized she was a true hero and wanted to see just how strong she was. This man immediately activated Time Stop and Chloe was able to respond, something Rimuru couldn't have even done at this point. She instantly changed into her adult form and was able to match Guy blow for blow. Guy wasn't being serious here, but the point still stands. Chloe was able to go toe-to-toe with him, which is a very impressive feat and really showcases how far she's come in terms of raw power. After this, Chloe's next major involvement came in, you guessed it, the Eastern Empire's invasion of Tempest, when she, along with the entire country, was sent inside Ramirez's dungeon for safety. Chloe and Benimaru initially found spies within the labyrinth who were targeting Masayuki due to his striking resemblance to their Emperor Rudra. I mean, that's because he is Rudra, but if you want to know about that, watch this Rudra Masayuki video. Anyway, Chloe and Benimaru were able to easily defeat these fodder spies. And during the invasion, Chloe decided to aid in the defense of Tempest from the enemy forces. But even when the Eastern Empire forces were dealt with, Feldway and Michael finally got serious, as they showed up personally alongside the Phantom commanders Solario and Cornu with the intent to take out Ramirez and Masayuki. Chloe wasn't having any of this and came to Masayuki's aid, even fighting Feldway for a short period of time. This is the first Primordial Angel. But then, Feldway realized Chloe had an Angelic Series ultimate skill and, well...
Fucking hell, man. I'm finished.
Chloe's skill's ego was awakened by Feldway's Regalia Dominion, allowing Sariel to possess Chloe and fight for Michael and Feldway. Due to how strong Chloe is, this wasn't great for Rimuru, but she wasn't going to just let the enemy use her as a puppet. Chloe was able to temporarily break free by trapping Sariel's ego within unlimited imprisonment, reverting the effects of Feldway's skill. However, this had massive consequences. Not only did Chloe revert back to her child form, but she also lost all access to her ultimate skills and the Manas Cronoa. But Chloe wasn't worried. I mean, even Rimuru offered to have CL grant her control again, but Chloe was confident that her own Manas was strong enough to come back. Plus, she didn't want to rely on her Rimuru anymore. And Chloe certainly delivered, as without her, Rimuru would be dead, 6 feet under, bamboozled for life. But you're probably wondering what could possibly kill the #1 GOAT. Well, Feldway launched his attack with Michael and lured Rimuru out to Demon Lord Dagaru's domain as a trap. So when Rimuru arrived, Michael ganked him, immediately using Time Stop to take out all of Rimuru's subordinates, including Diablo. At this point, Rimuru could perceive what was happening in Time Stop, but he still couldn't freely move around, and so Michael was about to end this man's entire career. Suddenly, Chloe stepped in and saved her boyfriend with her regained powers. While CL worked her magic to find a way to bypass Michael's Time Stop, Chloe fought in a 1v1 against Michael himself. Remember, in Time Stop, only skills using information particles are effective. The laws of physics are thrown in the trash and defensive abilities are useless. And yet, Chloe was able to match Michael in both physical and informational particle strength. You know, like physical strength and information particle manipulation. That's better. Seriously though, Michael is one of the strongest characters in the series, but I guarantee you he didn't account for someone whose power is literally time manipulation. And then Chloe took this man out in the most disrespectful way, using the skill Reverse Fate to turn back time to a point where Michael was just a skill with no ego or personality, causing his vessel to disintegrate into nothing. And then she stole Michael for herself. She legit talk no jutsu'd this man, saying that she felt bad because all he wanted was to bring back Daddy Valdenava, but he just lost his way. Then the voice of the world realized Chloe had the embodiments of 3 ultimate skills now: courage, hope, and justice. 3 attributes of a true hero. So she evolved her ultimate skill one more time into Space-Time God Yog-Sothoth. We don't know the specifics of this power yet, but Chloe's power is now insane, making her practically a goddess who has total authority over all space and time, with an EP that, according to CL, is incalculable. But if I were to guess, she probably stacks up to the likes of Guy Crimson if she uses 100% of her power. Funnily enough though, this Michael was only a copy, and so Chloe destroyed the Time Stop and told Rimuru to go deal with the real one. Also, she kissed him. That happened, cementing their relationship while Rimuru wife CL got pissed at her. She told them, you better not be doing this shit again, bitch. And I know y'all are about to get pissed off at me too, because I uploaded the Time Stop Chloe video before GTA 6 came out, but you guys might have to wait after GTA 6 comes out for the Eastern Empire video, because that was turning out to be like a whole 2-hour plus epic like video. And I'm gonna be honest, right now I've become kind of like burnt out on slime. I've been covering it for 6 months, made like 10 plus videos, so I'm gonna take a bit of a break from slime and instead do Hunter x Hunter and Blue Lock for a bit, and then I'll be back doing slime. So I hope you guys understand. Your guys' support for the slime videos were amazing, insane. Love you guys. Go watch the Primordial Demons video next. Bye.